Kimi Mwaga. We've got Wanjira in the house. Folks, good to see you. Thanks so much for your time. Reverend, let me start with you. What is you're 23 years old.
You just told the whole world.
I just told the whole world you're 23 years old. And you're a reverend.
Yes.
Go on.
Well, yes, I'm currently in Wamboi-Keria. I'm an Anglican minister in the Diocese of Thika under the Right Reverend Professor Julius Onyuike. I am a theologian. I am also really interested in climate justice and the political part of things, and policies implementation also.
How long have you been a reverend?
How long have I? A few months now. However, now we have the ministering part without being ordained. And so that one I have done for 5 years. And so, yes.
So when you entered college or university, right, you said, yes, this is what I want to do.
Yes, I went to St. Paul's University and pursued my bachelor's in divinity, and then now I'm finishing my master's in theology. And
then there's another step.
And then maybe we will think about the doctorate. Yes.
Wow. Reverend Dr. Caroline Kiarie.
Yes, please.
Hello. Kimi Mwaga.
Yes.
What is your story?
Well, I am the Kidi Mwaga, convener Interparties Youth Forum. I read law at the University of Nairobi. After University of Nairobi, I have been intimately engaged in matters policy formulation, policy critique. I have worked with in the political processes. Currently, I serve as the Secretary, Policy and Legislative Affairs in the Grand Old Party, KANU.
Is that right?
That is right. And when I am not doing matters law, matters policy, I write the mandate every Monday on the Standard, where we tell the whole world the feelings of the young people of this country. When I am not doing any of that, I run Masterwave Motors. I'm a mechanic.
You are a mechanic?
If I'm not in a suit, I run Masterwave Motors along Demi Road.
With overalls?
With overalls.
Wonderful.
Yes.
Are you any good?
Good enough. If the 4x4 I saw that was coming in has issues,
yes,
and the people from CMC cannot come through very quickly,
I bring it to you.
Reach out.
You will sort me out?
Sure thing. Sure thing. We have got very good mechanics.
Well done.
Yes.
Well done.
Yes.
And the next MP from Madare. Madare. Wanjira. I know you're going to do this. I know you're ambitious. And you want to change lives, don't you?
I do, Jay.
Yes.
Yes.
And last time we spoke, I mean, it was last year, right?
Yes.
And you're still determined you're going to stand for office?
I am, because we need alternative political leadership in this country.
Yeah. Where did Wanjira come from? Give us your background.
I was born and brought up in Madare. I went to school in Madare before I got lucky to go to boarding school, which helped me. And now I run a community center in Madare alongside my comrade Gasheke Gashihi, the Madare Social Justice Center. I studied international relations and diplomacy at the University of Nairobi. And I'm also into entrepreneurship. I told you about CMOS last time I was here. Yes, so looking to scale that up this year.
You don't want to be a diplomat? I mean, international relations is a great field, huh?
I want to be home and change my country.
Do you like home, huh?
I love home.
The grass is not green on the other side. How's you?
Absolutely not.
Yeah.
Tuko na weather poa sana hapa.
Yeah. I hear you. I hear you. Okay, Reverend, so since June 25th last year.
Yes.
That is the key date.
Yes. Yeah.
The demonstrations in the city that literally changed our country. We're 6 months down the line. We're almost at January 25th, right? It's almost 6 months down the line.
Yeah.
Have we made any progress, as in you guys, as in your generation? Have we made progress?
We actually have, and a lot of it, because now we see, even before the government or rather whenever the system thinks about doing something, they always look at the impact that it will come or the pushback that will come from the Gen Z. I mean, we have made great strides. We have made the president to reshuffle the cabinet, even if they're still doing musical chairs. At least there's something that we're doing. We have seen how the movement is agitating the system, which I usually say that young people are not an issue to deal with. We are not issues for you to come and deal with us. And so let us deal with the real issues. And so we can say that in the 6 months, it's so unfortunate that we had to lose so many comrades in the fight. But however, we can say we have moved, and it has made quite a difference. And even though we continue to call for accountability, integrity, we cannot say that we have not moved in the 6 months. And so we are grateful, and at the same time, we continue to remember the fallen comrades. And we will continue to push on until we get accountability, integrity, proper policy implementation. That is what we need.
Yeah.
Yes.
Kimi, at the same time, there are still 25 unaccounted for abductees.
Yes.
They're still out there.
Yes.
We don't know where they are. And you know, the youth keep getting abducted every other day.
Yes.
And they're going through hell.
Yeah.
The stories that they tell, those who are able to come back and
Yes.
talk,
Yes.
you know, talk about being held naked for days,
Yes.
without food,
Yes.
tortured.
Yes.
I mean, come on, what's going on here?
Jeff, you know, when this administration came into office, a lot of young Kenyans gave it the benefit of the doubt, even when it showed us the signs that it didn't have a lot of interest to stick to the path of straight and narrow of the rule of law. Remember when a senior businessman in this country was abducted at gunpoint, and the next thing we heard from the senior-most leadership of this country that options are 3, and one of them is having someone transported to a heaven. Post June 25th, it has emerged very clearly that there is a deliberate attempt by this administration to instill fear in the young people, so that there is a repressive system that has been rolled out to abduct, to kill, to intimidate, to instill fear. As we are speaking, there is a young man who was killed in Molo, who was politically active. Otieno. Yes. One thing that we are being told now is that there is also a deliberate scheme to map out politically active young people like Reverend here and my sister Wanjira, and try to find their weaknesses and seek how to exploit their weaknesses, which includes but not limited to undermining their reputation in the media, including social media.
Yeah.
So that when you're a young man like yours truly, they might want to see if you possibly, you're a philandering young man, part of their strategy. And then if they take you out, then it is claimed that it is a love triangle gone bad. But then the young people must stand up, because this is the only country we have. And this government must be an accountable government, or we'll have nothing.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Wanjira, are you worried? Do you fear for your life? Like Kimi said, they're targeting you leaders, you know that?
Yeah, they do.
They're targeting you guys. Are you scared? Are you fearful?
I don't think anyone is safe in this country, to be honest. Even people who are not politically active, they are abducted and disappeared and found dead, which is really unfortunate. But as young people, tumesema ukweli hatuna pesa ya kununua uoga. We cannot be afraid in the face of abductions, disregard for the Constitution of Kenya 2010, disregard for the sovereignty of the people of Kenya, the things that should be happening today. We look forward to being history that we tell the future generations of this country. They should not be happening. And I want to say that the political leadership has absolutely failed us, and have failed us time and time again. Like, they fail us, and then they fail us even further. Then they fail us even further. Like, it's a never-ending disappointment and failure of the political class, which I thought we were going to talk about morals today. They do not have any moral standing to talk to the young people of this country about morals. When they are killing us, when they're abducting us, when they are disappearing us, when young people are turning up dead for saying we reject the finance bill, for criticizing bad leadership and governance. So we cannot be afraid. We are at home. I am home, Jeff. Why should I be afraid?
Tell me something, but some of you are also being bought. Let's face it.
Yes.
There's some of you who were very outspoken in the beginning, and now they're very quiet. Ni kama wamepeoka kakitu. Au sio?
Lakini sio some of us. Sema Kasmol Makure has been bought. And I think from the very beginning, Kasmol said sometimes his mental state is a bit unstable and he's not grounded in a movement like I am. He's not grounded ideologically. So for many Kenyans, it wasn't very surprising. And look at us. Samuel is gone. Today we have Reverend. So the leaders will continue coming up over and over again because this is a struggle that is informed by our lived realities, by the things that we are facing as young people, that we cannot afford to be quiet. And it's unfortunate that they got Kaswal.
Yeah.
He will regret it without a shadow of doubt.
Sisemi Kitu. Reverend.
Yes.
But where is your leadership? Where is the leadership of the Gen Zs? Who are your leaders?
I think that is where we should look at it and say, truly, we are leaderless. And so we can sit here and say that we are the leaders of Gen Z. It's a voice. And the voice of, let's say now, the voice of God, it can use any personalities. But the voice remains constant. And the message of the Gen Z is very clear. We want accountability. We want integrity. And so we don't need leaders to come and talk. What are we talking about? We are asking for accountability, integrity, proper policy implementation. And so the movement has no leader. Also, something you should note is now the movement is ageless. You can now join,
Me?
quote unquote, Gen Z.
Mzae.
Yes. Because what we are trying, we are being connected by IT. Gen Z is connected by IT, it is connected by education, it is connected by ideas, it is connected by purpose. And so it is a movement for everyone. It is ageless, it is leaderless, and that is why it is very difficult for the system and the government to shut it down, because who are you shutting down? Okay,
then let me ask you, Kimi.
Yes.
Kidi, sorry. There's a fear that, other leaders, older people like our generation, may want to take over, may want to embrace you guys, so that you
propel their political agenda.
Correct.
Thank you, Jeff. First, I will start with the question of our young people who have been co-opted.
Yes.
I want to say clear on Citizen TV, JKL, that co-option has been a system that has been used over and over again the world over. Remember when young people of this country those days were angling for multipartyism, we had a politician who was nicknamed Ugali Man, a man who was a central figure in the opposition politics, and then went to State House and had lunch with President Moi. I must say that I don't think he ended very well. And people who betray revolutions usually end up that way. About politicians taking advantage of the Gen Z movement, and as Rev says that it is a quality of heart and mind, I must say that after June 25th, I am convinced beyond a shadow of doubt that it is possible for young people to evolve a viable political alternative that will lead to a transformative political change. A political change that we can achieve through mainstream political processes. But then in doing that, that viable alternative must be youth-owned and youth-led, so that the older people who are seeking to be part of the Gen Z will be joining the Gen Zs, not the Gen Zs or the Gen Z revolution movement, joining them. And allow me to quote the president now, when he said that as young people were, those days still, that there was a time that they wanted to say, vijana pia wako na wazee. This time, considering where the country is standing, as young people, we are going to make sure that we out-mobilize we out-organize the establishment and make sure that it is the wazees joining us so that we can say, sisi pia tuko na wazee.
So let me ask you this.
Yes.
So when the time comes, and we're 2 years away, right? 2027, we're 2 years away.
Yes.
When the time comes,
yes,
will you have your people in various slots, in various positions, all the way to the top? Will you have that?
Yes. Jeff, I convened the Interparties Youth Forum, an entity that brings together, originally it was bringing together young people from across the political divide. Post June 25th, we have expanded. We are working with young people in civil society organizations like my friend Wanjira. We are working with young people in the CBOs and in other spaces that are originally not reached by political parties. What we are saying is that we must now mobilize and organize. As we are speaking here, as we are seated here, we have built a huge network all over the country where we are able to be one another's keeper. So that now that they've taken out Jeff, as young people, Raymond, as young people, we are then able to come together and send a little support to people like Raymond. So then that movement is going to be built over time to make sure that we form a cohesive political force that then is able to force the hand of the establishment into doing what is right and just.
Okay, Wanjira, let me ask you this. People in Mathare, your generation, are you getting your ID cards? Are you, seeking to do, because that's the first step, right? The first step is getting an ID card. Are your people doing that?
ID card has been monetized, first of all, and then it has an expiry date, as though you expire from being a Kenyan, which is very wrong, which is some of the things that we're saying, what is wrong with this administration.
How much are they charging, by the way?
Is it 1,000?
1,000, huh?
Yeah.
And then it has what, a 2-year expiration?
10-year.
10-year expiration.
10-year expiration.
Go on.
Which is unacceptable, really. And it is becoming very difficult for people to get identity cards. Like, you can barely eat. Now you want to pay for an identity card, which was originally free. So we want to push that ID cards go back to being free. We want to push for the reconstitution of IEBC. We have been saying this over and over again. It's really an impediment to how we want to move forward. We would have already recalled so many members of parliament because parliament is very problematic. So we are working towards consolidating our constituency in a way that come 2027, we are actually getting into those positions of influence, because we cannot keep protesting about things that are not working. We need to put people in positions that actually birth that new country that we want to see, that respects the rule of law, respects the Constitution of Kenya 2010, and has really just humanity. Kwa sababu ni utu ambayo tumekosa kwenye uongozi wetu.
Yeah.
Our leaders wamekosa utu kabisa. Kabisa, completely.
Reverend, do you see a Gen Z running for president?
Well, it's a very touchy and tricky subject when we talk about running for the presidency.
Why?
However, you have said a Gen Z,
yeah.
And I think you are thinking about the age gap and the age group.
Yes.
I think that the young people will vie for seats. They will vie for the governor, for the MCAs, for the MPs, and we will stand with them and we will vote them in. However, what I would say is it is important for us as young people, even as we talk about the collection of IDs and the whole circus that comes with it, the young people, we will be there to vote, because this time we're not sitting on the fence. Because one of the reasons maybe that young people didn't vote last time is because there was the question of which one is the lesser evil. And so who is the lesser evil person? And so some of them decided not to vote. And so I will say that we are going to vote. Voting, we will vote. And I also want to urge each and every young person who desires to be in office, a person of integrity, a person who is worthy of the office and who has a calling to serve the community, not serving self-interest, because that is what is affecting our country. Because you get into office and say, ni wakati wangu sasa ya kurudisha pesa ya campaign. We need a person who is there to serve the people of Kenya, regardless of the tribes, of the region, of anything. We just need a person of accountability and integrity. And if there will be a young person who will be vying for the seat of the president, we will support them. Let them bring their ideologies, let them bring what they want, their manifesto. We are a generation that sits and think. We will not just choose you because you're a young person. We are also not going to choose you because you're an old politician and you have experience in the game. We need to see what is your manifesto. And because like right now, the president is still giving promises and we are not in the campaign period, and we're still wondering why are you making promises and you are in the seat to do what you have already promised. And so we don't need promises anymore. We need to see work, the work that comes in. We need to see JSS working. We need to see Chief and Shah working, if it will be there by then. And even now, we still have to ask the question of how many casualties should we have before the 2.5 years end? Because right now, the country looks like we are in a campaign period, and we are in the second, is it the second or the third year of the president?
Yeah.
It's year 3, but even him himself is like leading, because for me, him giving promises makes it seem like it's still a campaign period. And so I am wondering, when will these people work? And I saw the show you had last time, or I think it was in Daybreak, and there was the question of how much more time do you need? Because now they have moved from working to campaigning again. And so we just need people of integrity, people who know what they are doing, and people who want to serve Kenyans and serve them fully, not serving self-interest. Yes.
Kitty, would you run for president?
Jeff, I think we will cross that bridge when we get there.
No, give me an answer right now, Kitty. Come on, man. Don't be afraid.
I am not afraid. I come from the lineage of men who are not afraid. But what is important now is that we consolidate the voices of young people. Sure. There are a lot of young people who had lost faith in the political processes. And I've told you...
8 million people didn't vote last time.
8 million. And every year we have got 1 million young people coming of age. Yeah. And over and above the 8 million that did not vote, there was another 5 million that was of the voting age population, within the voting age, but didn't register. This is a population that we must mop up first. So that is the work that yours truly, through Interparties, working with the partners, is dedicated to. And when we get there in 2027, when we are getting into the polls, we will figure out that who best can carry the aspirations of the people of Kenya and bring the viable alternative, and not the conventional thinking that we are seeing in the political class right now.
Are you guys sick and tired of the recycled leaders we keep seeing?
Yeah.
When you look at you, you look at you.
Yes, like, oh my gosh, it's so tiring.
Yeah.
It's so, my gosh. Kenya has brilliant young people.
Yeah.
Kenya has amazing people who could take this country forward. Like, absolutely. Have you seen our young people, Jeff? They're amazing. They're brilliant. They're being hired by outside people to do their intellectual work. So we have an amazing young population in Kenya that time and time again are denied a position to serve. Like recently we had billionaire Kabogo being elected for ICT minister.
Yeah, do you know how much he's worth?
Yeah, he said he was worth
3.3.
3.3 billion. Why?
That's what we know.
Why?
And you know, he was my governor.
He was your governor?
Yes.
Correct.
But I think the government is playing musical chairs. You know, the game for the chiefs, where we remove one seat, we return it, we put the same players. And that is what the Gen Z, or rather that is what Kenyans are tired of. You're doing, when we tell you we don't want this, you bring it in another form.
Yes.
I will say that we are educated. We are rational thinkers. I don't know why we're being taken as children and we're being taken for a ride.
Yeah.
I don't understand why he's playing. I expected then, maybe, that as he's choosing his 3 ICT cabinet gurus, that at least there will be one young person. But we keep on seeing him, and that is the question I had on Daybreak, that after every wave, you look for partnerships. After every wave, you look for partnership. After June 25th, you went broad-based.
ODM people.
Then Juzi, now
Uhuru
after Gachagua, went to Uhuru.
Central.
Now my question is, what next? Because the movement is evolving. As he said, it's not stopping. So even when you ask us what is the way forward, the way forward is we are dissatisfied with what is happening in the nation. And so when satisfaction, and when they do their jobs according to their job description, then that is when, because young people went on the streets, they were killed. So if there's a protest on the street, they stir up, they anger the government and the system. When they do art and creatives things online, they still anger the government. And this is my thinking and what I have come to observe. The political class has gone to something I can call self-preservation. And so the first self-preservation that happened is on June 25th was to pacify what they mean as they pacify the young people. When that didn't work and they took their fight online, that is when there is abduction. And now we are seeing what they're bringing now is division of Kenyans on tribes. That huyu ni wa Mlima, sisi ni wa huku chini, sisi ni wa pale na pale pengine. And that is, for me, I am looking at them, you're trying to self-preserve yourself. And my desire is that as Kenyans, we should not allow anyone to define us or to divide us on the basis of our tribes. And I love the Gen Z movement and whatever happened on June 25th. There was no, you are from this tribe and I'm from this tribe. We were fighting for the same thing, ideas, purpose. What we want is a change in government. It did not matter where you came from. It did not matter your ideology. We only had one goal. We want to change. They should change how they are running the government because we are not okay with it. Did
that goal end on that day? What happened?
No, what happened is, and I'm very excited about this part, is that the protest morphed. It morphed to an online one, and it will continue evolving. It will continue evolving. And so even when they try to curb or shut it down, in the beginning I said, it is a voice calling for change. And so it will not matter the personality. If they take me out, if they take him out, it won't matter. The voice will remain, that we are calling the political class to accountability for them to implement policies properly, that it is about systems and not personalities, that when you are not there, the system cannot work. That does not make sense. And we see some of the politicians talking and giving us a view that they are above the system. And that is why they can be given 3 days and all this nonsense and whatever they called it will end. And we look at them and we're like, so they are above the system. And so it is important for us to uphold systems rather than personalities. Let us have proper working system. Chief, SHA, let it start working. If something is working, you don't have to explain to us it is working. If these cameras in studios are working, Jeff, you don't have to continue to tell us these cameras are working. Don't you have any other accomplishment than this is working? We need to see and to feel that the promises they made unwarranted. No one told them to promise us anything. The promises that you made unwarranted, let them come to pass, because now you have power and you have 2 years to go.
Kitty, there's critics of Gen Zs who say that you people are very indisciplined.
Yes. Jeff, that charge one, it is unjustified. It is unjustified because young people today in this country are a very frustrated lot. Their frustration comes in large part from the missteps and the miscalculations of the political class. People who have been in power for decades are the people who have authored this state of disillusionment. For instance, 20 years ago, President William Ruto today was part of the people that were part of the government then. So that today, after being in power for all this time, the president has got no excuse. And so these young people are frustrated. And in their frustration, they have gone ahead to tell the establishment, to tell the political class that we cannot continue with business as usual. Then the political class have come out to say that the young people are indisciplined. But now let's discuss the question of discipline. One of the problems of this country today is the problem that started with Eurobond, when we took a lot of debt and undermined the economic vitality of this country. Around that time, some of the same voices that attempted to prick the conscience of the then administration was Right Honorable Raila Amolo Odinga. When Raila Amolo Odinga was calling press conference after press conference to try to highlight the mismanagement of the public spending, one of the senior people in what today we call broad-based was the first one to charge at Raila Odinga as the Lord of Poverty. Raila Odinga had just served as the Prime Minister. And for historical purposes, we must remember that he was a Prime Minister only in name, but he was a president in every other form, because it was 50-50 sharing. They were co-principals to the president. In other jurisdictions, former presidents are respected. Even in Tanzania over here, we had President Mwinyi. He left office in '95, but he was respected. No leader would insult President Mwinyi.
Why are you talking about Raila?
For context.
Go on.
So what I'm saying is that at that point in time in 2015, we should have seen a bit of respect from such leaders. Today, as we are here, the people calling Gen Z indisciplined, a whole member of parliament goes in public and mentions the nakedness of people's mothers. Where is discipline in that? And he calls himself honorable. What honorable? So I think that the political class, before they speak about the speck in the young people's eyes, must first remove the log in their own eyes.
But Wanjira has a very good point there, because a lot of Gen Zs, they see that Raila has sold out.
Yes.
Because of what he did recently. I mean, he had a handshake with Uhuru in 17. Now he has a handshake with Ruto.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay,
and yeah.
So let me respond to that.
No, wait.
Okay.
Let Wanjira speak.
Yeah, I don't think we need to be talking about Raila.
But let me say something about that.
No.
I will say something about that. Wanjira, you will be disciplined on this show, so that
I am very disciplined. It is you bringing Raila into this conversation.
So let me say this about Raila.
He betrayed us.
Okay, hold on. Wanjira, do you feel betrayed?
Yeah, absolutely. We were not on the streets for ODM to get positions. We were on the streets to get good governance in this country. And had Raila joined us, we would be having a very different conversation right now. So we cannot start bringing him here and talking about how he was not respected. I don't know what. All of that history, honestly, was rubbished the day he betrayed the Gen Z movement. History will not absolve him. That happened when he was fighting Moi and whatnot, but when the people needed him, he turned his back on the people. There's no forgetting that. And also, when you talk about discipline from the young people, I think the Gen Zs have been absolutely disciplined in defending the dignity of the Kenyan people. That is the discipline we need to talk about. They have absolutely fought tooth and nail that the Constitution of Kenya is respected and upheld, that human rights are respected and upheld, that the Constitution is what dictates the politics of the country. And when Farah Malim comes and say, I'm going to kill 5,000 Gen Zs, when somebody says, if you give me 3 days, I'm going to, all of that happens, and then we want to look at the indiscipline of the people. What about the indiscipline of the oppressors? Who really should be talking about indiscipline from the other? And we are tired of even being labeled, oh, our children, they don't respect our elders. Where we come from, elders earn respect. I respect you because you are respectful and you deserve my respect. You've had what people say that even fools grow old. We have been seeing a lot of old fools in the political space. And then they are saying you have no manners. Even I remember at the airport when I was asking Farah Malim if he's still killing 5,000 Gen Zs.
You asked him?
I asked him, I was like, yes.
And?
He said, oh, it wasn't me. he tried to, and they told me, Wanjira, you're like my granddaughter. And said, why are we bringing ages in politics when you wanted to kill us for raising a valid question? Honestly, Jeff, what people were saying is we reject the finance bill. And how that ended was in young people being dumped, was in women being dismembered and dumped in Kware, in Mukuru, was in a very dark phase. Came through the country because we said we reject the finance bill. This is outrageous. And today we are talking about young people are indisciplined. I refuse to have that notion about indiscipline because it is not right. And it is weaponizing morals to entrench a hegemony and a dictatorship that is unacceptable.
Just to come in on the indiscipline part, I just want to understand something. So when we are cheering for them, when we are very excited to see them, when we are pushing their agendas and whatever they have placed in us, we are disciplined. But when we say, really, this is wrong and we need accountability for this, that becomes indiscipline, then we will continue to be indisciplined.
Viva.
Because we cannot be removing the blocks when it comes to such issues, because what then is discipline, and then what again is indiscipline? Because if discipline is that, let's be in discipline. Let us do what is right for our nation now. In a few years, you won't be here. Someone else will have taken up your job.
I'm sorry, what do you mean?
Someone will take up your job.
Reverend, what do you say?
And my question is, because the people are saying you mentored people, my question is, who have you mentored to become like you, to take it up, because you won't be here forever?
Sure.
Maybe new opportunities might come. We are not placed to be somewhere forever. Even them, they have not been placed to be in politics forever. And so even when they talk about indiscipline, let us not move the bars. If it should be standard, it's not what do we call it? It's not absolute truth, or it's not. There is truth that is moved. That what is true to me might not be true to you. But discipline is standard.
So what you're saying? Come and buy her?
Baya. Baya. Come on,
Kitty, go on. Real quick, go ahead.
I think that my sister is simply saying what I was saying. And I was bringing that history to underscore how politicians themselves started the culture of insolence in this country.
Do you feel betrayed by Baba? You see, he's laughing.
Do you?
He's laughing now.
And that is the problem that we have. And I do hope we can be able to move from that. If something is wrong,
it is wrong.
If something is right, it is right. It does not matter the personality.
Exactly.
It is about systems.
I 100% agree.
I think, Jeff, when we're speaking about discipline, the discipline that I think we should be talking about in this country is from the political class. Look at how the political class are conducting the affairs of this country. Look at the corruption. Look at the mismanagement. Look at how the cost of running government has skyrocketed in the 2 years we have had this administration in office. So I think for me, if you're speaking about discipline, that is where discipline should have started. We should have seen fiscal discipline in the management of the affairs of this country. Look at the funding that is now in yesterday's newspapers, that is now going to the office of the Deputy President. Look at the entertainment budget for State House. It is crazy.
It's ridiculous.
It is money that if we would have spent much more wisely, we would not have had to ship our young people to go and do manual jobs in the Middle East.
All right, folks. True. Good point. Very good point. I want to take a break, come back and talk about, there have been some leaders out there who have, for lack of a better word, aligning themselves with Gen Zs. Everyone from Kalonzo Musyoka, Jimmy Wanjigi, Okia Omtata.
Yes.
What do you guys think of those guys? Could they be potential leaders of your movement? Oi! Let's take a break. It's a great conversation, guys. Great conversation. And also, will you stand, Reverend Doctor?
For office?
Yes.
Not really.
Kitty?
Yeah, I'm a stand for office.
Good. Well, we know. Keep tweeting, folks. It's a great conversation. At Queen Anchor Jeff, at Citizen TV Kenya. The hashtag is JKLIVE. We're going to come back, talk some more, go to the magic wall. and get your thoughts. Gen Zs out there, this is you. What do you think?